On tonight's edition of our nation's sports show, we preview this year's NFL Draft. Also tonight, we recap the action from this past weekend in the NBA playoffs. The Nuggets stay alive, avoid being swept by the Golden State Warriors. Game 5, Tuesday night, back in San Francisco. Will Golden State dispatch Denver in 5? On Monday night, did Boston break out the brooms in their series against the Nets and sweep them? The Suns and the Pelicans in their series are tied at 2 games apiece. The pressure is on Phoenix. It is that time once again, sports fans. It's showtime. From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sports. Members of the Busted Up Nation bring to you our Nation Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Ezra Vickery, Joey Thornton, Kevin Rorie, Randy Giron, and Stephen Wyand. Ladies and gentlemen, coast to coast and around the world, we are live for another outstanding edition of our Nation Sports Show live on YouTube. Like an RKO coming out of nowhere, I am actually the host tonight. I am Stephen Wyand, joined by our crew as always. But before we get to these fine gentlemen on screen with me tonight, we got to take care of the business, boys, where you can follow us on the social media platforms. You can follow us on Twitter at ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we are up to 94 subscribers on YouTube. We're getting so close to getting that 100 subscriber plateau and a custom URL. So it'll be easy for you guys to find us and what we're doing and all that good stuff. And now we get to these fine fellas. Up first, he is the Las Vegas Raiders correspondent on this show. He knows his Raiders very well. He's a fellow metalhead just like yours truly. My good brother, Randy Giron. Randy, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on tonight, gentlemen? Just want to say I'm happy to be here. I'm just really confused about some Darren Waller news I've heard today. Makes me want to crawl up into a ball and cry. But we'll see what happens after that. But just happy Tuesday to everyone, and happy to be here. And if my buddy Marty Ashworth is watching, how's it going? Good. Hopefully, we have a great show tonight, guys. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And also joining me tonight, he is a Washington Commanders fan. I don't know why that's even possible, that they're a horrible football team. But anyways, I like this guy, I guess. He's not Justin Timberlake, but he is Joey Thornton. Joey, what's going on, brother?
What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. Man, after so many weeks of NFL draft talk and this, that, and the other, it's finally going to happen Thursday night, and I'm ready to see it happen so people can stop talking.
That's right. And finally, This man knows his sports. He knows his football, basketball, you name it. He's one of my good friends. The one, the only San Francisco 49ers, Golden State Warriors fan fanatic himself, K-Rod, Kevin, Rorie. What's going on, man?
What's going on, you guys? Happy Tuesday. Glad to be back on the show with you and glad to talk some sports, the NFL draft, the NBA playoffs. And darn it, what do you know? I forgot my broom. I meant to have a broom beside me. Like Perry Saturn used to have Mr. Mop. I meant to have my broom for that sweep last night of the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, you had one job, sir, and you blew it. But anyways.
Just like Brooklyn did.
Yeah, exactly. Lost 4 straight games, and we're going to get to that here shortly. And, man, just guys, what a crazy weekend it was in sports, with the NBA playoffs. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? Brooklyn couldn't win a game. But, yeah, anyways, the playoffs are in full swing. There's a lot of crazy stories coming out of these games from the past couple of days, including, and I guess we'll get to this one because this is shocking into itself first. We're not going to go with the obvious. We're going to go with this one. Toronto has won 2 straight games to force a Game 6 back in Toronto. Man, Philadelphia, guys, is unraveling in front of our eyes as we speak. Embiid, Harden, Harris, they could not get it done in their own building, and they lose by 15 to a Toronto team that is hungry. They are super, competitive. They have nothing to lose, going down 3-0 to start out this series against the 76ers. And the Raptors somehow, some way have a beating heart. They are alive and well right now. They are hot. They have forced a Game 6 back in Toronto. And the craziest stat before I get to you guys, here's my thoughts on this game from last night. And it starts with the second quarter. You have Embiid, Harden, all these guys on this team, star caliber players. And you get outscored in that first quarter, 25-14. That's right, 25-14. That is abysmal for a team with star caliber players like Philadelphia has. And that third quarter and that fourth quarter, it just kept on for Toronto. They got hot for the rest of that game. Philadelphia, no matter what they tried, they couldn't get nothing going. Siakam was spectacular in this game, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, almost had a triple-double. And like I said, Philadelphia is unraveling right now. They have all the pressure on them going on the road to Canada to face the Raptors in Toronto. And I'll start with you, Joey, on this Game 6 coming up on Thursday. Philadelphia, with their backs now against the wall and the pressure is on them, they have to start early in this game against Toronto because Harden has got to play better. He did not play great at all in this game. Embiid, had 20 points and 10 and 11 rebounds, but that's not good enough when you're struggling from the field and your team is not being consistent. And I'll ask you this. If you are Philadelphia, what is the game plan that you have to go through to get this win on Thursday?
It's actually quite simple. The most simple game plan that Philadelphia can use here is to not get James Harden involved all the time. I mean, think about it. Whenever Philadelphia rolled through Toronto the first 3 games to go up 3-0, was James Harden involved in the whole thing? No, he wasn't. The 76ers, they spread the ball around. They got everybody involved. They got Embiid involved. They got Tyrese Maxey involved. They got Tobias Harris involved. They got all these different players involved that was able to get rebounds, dish the ball out, get buckets, play defense. I understand that Embiid maybe suffering from a broken right thumb right now, which he's going to get surgery on after this postseason is over. But still, Embiid said he can still play through the pain. So
Right.
Doc Rivers needs to be looking at his game plan and say, I have all these guys on my roster that are not named James Harden or Joel Embiid that I can actually give them the ball. They can actually put up some points and possibly give us a chance to close out this series in Canada on the road in Game 6. So Doc Rivers, as smart of a coach as he is, I mean, think of all the teams that Doc Rivers led to the NBA playoffs and onto an NBA championship. I mean, you can list several of his Boston Celtics teams that he listed, and all these
Mhm.
other teams that he has put in the postseason. So the motive is simple: spread the ball around, rely on other people to get buckets, and don't rely on the same one or two people all the time. And the Sixers could, I'm not saying will, but could close this series out on the road and move on to the next round.
That's right.
Simple as that.
That's right. Good points. Randy?
Yeah, you guys there's that meme that's on Facebook of that kid, and he's got a calculator and he's trying to figure out stuff, and he's like, and they plug it in, and every time that the Sixers do that, they figure out, oh crap, we have James Harden on our team, so we got to make up for that. That's just a loss right there. They took an L right there. That's their first mistake. It'll be if this happens again, it's part of Doc Rivers' legacy to be up 3-1 and lose every time.
But even worse this time. But even like I was going to say, but even worse, up 3-0. Nobody in the history of the NBA down 3-0 has never come back to win a basketball series in any part of the playoffs, the first, second, third, or the NBA finals. It's never happened. Unbelievable.
That's craziness. I don't know what the remedy is of that. Besides, I don't know, play some defense. But Embiid can't do it all, and we're finding that out real quick. But Kevin, I'll let you go, bud.
You know what? I'll give you a little insight of what's going on. Not gonna say it's gonna happen, but Steven knows as well as I know, as watching the Boston Celtics growing up, Doc Rivers' problem is part of what's wrong with the Sixers right now. As good as a coach he is, he does not make adjustments. So when other teams make an adjustment to what he's doing, it's just like, oh shit, what do we do now? Hence, Boston Celtics, 2010, up 3-2 on the Los Angeles Lakers. What happens? Lakers make adjustments. Doc Rivers had no answer. Miami Heat, 2012. Doc Rivers had an adjustment. Doc Rivers goes up 3-2. Miami has an adjustment. LeBron James, Doc Rivers has no answer. Los Angeles Clippers, 3-1. Lob City, blown the lead to Golden State. Golden State, Mark Jackson and company had answers. Doc Rivers didn't know what to do. Philadelphia against Toronto a couple years back. Kawhi Leonard was an answer. Doc Rivers didn't know what to do. Last year, same way. Doc Rivers has a tendency to blow leads. Let's just say that. Now, I've never seen a 3-0 lead blown like you said. It ain't ever happened. But you know what? That's why the world goes round. Never say never. They could blow a 3-0 lead. And the sad part about it is Philadelphia's best defender is completely ineligible to play Game 6 due to the Canada's vaccine mandate. And they don't got their best defender, as well as Toronto might be getting Fred VanVleet back, which is really problematic because as good as I like Tyrese Maxey, James Harden don't play a fucking lick of defense, and he's killing them. Toronto started keying in, saying, you know what? Let's double and triple team Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? James Harden, again, you're supposed to be James Harden, the guy that hit 83 threes in a month in 2019, a guy that's dropped 60 points consecutively. And what do? You choke. We've seen you choke year after year after year. It's time for you to step up, say, give me the fucking ball, set me a pick, and let me score. But is Harden going to do it? I don't know. I don't believe he will.
I don't think he is, because if we know Harden's history with the Houston Rockets, with the Brooklyn Nets last year in the Eastern Conference Finals against Milwaukee, that was the biggest problem. The biggest single problem. The fact that Harden in that game 7 in Brooklyn, in freaking Brooklyn, Harden had an opportunity to help out Durant, and what did he do? He did not show up. Durant did it all. 48 points in that game 7 against Milwaukee. Giannis, unlike Brooklyn's help in that series last year, had help with Middleton and Holiday and all those boys. And then fast forward to this year, he's in Philadelphia. And oh, by the way, Philadelphia was the hottest team really in the latter half of the season. Everything was going great for Philadelphia. Oh, yay. We're doing a lot of great things, scoring buckets and having a lot of fun, you know, singing Kumbaya and all that fun shit, and in Philadelphia is now, they're not having fun right now because the pressure is clearly on their backs, up 3-2, but now you're going back home, or on the road, against Toronto. Toronto has nothing to lose. They were playing with house money. And this is the biggest concern for Philadelphia in game 6. If James Harden decides to pull a magic trick and disappear in game 6, he could be the scapegoat to why Philadelphia goes back to Philly tied 3-3. And if that happens, oh boy, Philadelphia is going to eat him alive, because to me, Embiid is not the problem. Harden's the problem, because Harden to me is the biggest cancer on a star caliber team. You think I'm lying? Look at the team with the Rockets. Chris Paul, one of his first best chances to go to the NBA Finals. They blew it. Why? Because of Harden. And then in last year with Brooklyn, when he was on that Nets team with Kyrie, even though Nets fans will go, oh, Kyrie went down in that series. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, fellas. You still had Harden, you still had Durant, and Harden didn't show up in game 7 on your home floor. And now this year, he hasn't shown up the last couple of games against Toronto. They should easily steamroll Toronto, but they're not. You know why? Because Doc Rivers is doing Doc Rivers things. Yeah, he's a great coach, but he's choking away a series lead. Has Doc Rivers not learned from his past failures with the Clippers, with the Celtics and the 2010 finals, up 3-2 on Kobe and the Lakers? Game 6 was their best chance in that series 12 years ago to win that championship. Hell, even better, Game 7. I know I'm retracting myself, but I'm proving a point here. Kevin, you remember this? We watched that Game 7 at my house. Game 7, Boston was up 11 points, 13 points in that second half. And they blew it. Why? Because not only was Doc Rivers' coaching scheme not working, he wasn't planning, and the players got tired because he wasn't managing their minutes in that game. And the Lakers were just the desperate team. And fast forward now to Philadelphia, this proves the point that the pressure is on him. And when the pressure is on Rivers' back, he doesn't know how to respond. And that's my biggest concern with this team, because Toronto doesn't even have Fred VanVleet in the lineup. He's their best player. Because the way Toronto was playing in game 5, they decided, oh, the hell with it. We're going to go big on y'all. And they did. 3 dudes over 6'5". The smallest player, Trent Jr., was the smallest dude on the floor as far as the biggest guys, 6'5". And just Siakam and them just were so aggressive on the offensive end, the defensive end of the floor. And Philadelphia just could not get nothing going in that game 5. So, yeah, all pressure is on the 76ers come Thursday.
And see, and plus, I happened to see this morning because I was watching highlights as I was getting ready for work. Doc Rivers is already at the top of the list for most losses by a coach when his team is on the verge of eliminating their opponents. He has 31 losses. That's at the top of the list. 31 losses.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. I mean, Steve Kerr wouldn't allow that. Phil Jackson wouldn't allow that. Even Greg Popovich wouldn't allow that. Popovich would have chewed his damn team alive, if they pulled some shenanigans like that. I mean, great coaches hold their players, no matter if it's the star player or the guy at the further end of the bench. Great coaches hold everybody on their team accountable for their misplay on the court. And this is a proven fact right here. Doc Rivers is not holding his players accountable for what's going on in these last couple of games. He's up there in the press conferences saying the right things, but he's not. His actions are not speaking louder than his words. He's letting his words do the talking instead of his actions do the talking. Because that's the mind of a great coach. A great coach not only says what they believe, but they also do what they believe because they lead. This is why Kerr, Jackson, Popovich, etc., even Pat Riley, these guys are leaders of men. They lead by example, and that makes the mark of a great coach in sports. Is a guy who can take any person from the top player to the bottom player and tell them, "Hey, I believe in you. I know what you can do with your playing abilities and stuff like that." So yeah, it's going to be a rather interesting game come Thursday.
Definitely.
Let's move on to the next game. You got Dallas and Utah, and man, this series is wild. I mean, man, back and forth it's gone. Dallas absolutely destroyed Utah last night. I mean, my goodness. I mean, man, just a crazy series it's been. I mean, Luka's been out the first couple of games, and Dallas has still found a way to be in this series. And Utah is down 3-2. Last night, Dallas beat them 102-77, and just crazy. Utah, one of the top teams in the West, is not even looking like it right now. I'll go to you, Kevin, first. What were your thoughts on Dallas's performance last night from Game 5?
First, I want to give a lot of credit to what a job that Jason Kidd has done as first-year head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. He has took a team who is basically heading into the season. All we said is all they have is Luka. All they had was Luka. Luka is leading a bunch of role players and solid acquisitions and that to the 4th best record in the West. That's a combination of great defense, great coaching by Jason Kidd, and great leadership by Luka Doncic. It's crazy that the face of the NBA is a guy who came from overseas, who isn't even American. That's how great this country is, to be able to let guys like that just come over here and play ball and he be the best player on the floor, because Luka Doncic is one of the best leaders there is in the NBA. You just see what he means to that Dallas Mavericks team. And I also got to give credit to Mark Cuban, because everybody called him crazy for trading away Kristaps Porzingis. They're big, but he hasn't done crap the last 3 years. And what did they get? A possible 6th Man of the Year candidate in Spencer Dinwiddie. He's played great for Dallas. After the All-Star break, Dallas has been one of the best teams in the league record-wise because of that trade. And Mark Cuban, he put his balls on the line for that trade. He made it happen. So I got to give a lot of credit to Mark Cuban, but I think this series is over. I think 3-2. I think Dallas closes it out at 6. We know what Utah is. We know what Utah's about. They choke. They can't get it done. The big moments, they've been in the playoffs, had a top 5 record over the last 8 seasons, been a top 5 seed in the West, and couldn't get past the finals in any season.
Absolutely. I mean, Luka was spectacular in his first game back after being gone with the injury. 33 points, 13 rebounds. I mean, he is one of the best young superstars in this league, and he will be a superstar for years to come. I mean, my goodness. I mean, and Jason Kidd he's doing an excellent job coaching these guys. Joey?
Hang on one second, guys.
All right, Randy.
Okay, so
oh, never mind. Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm back. So I'm telling you guys right now, if I was anybody involved with that Dallas organization, whether it be the head coach, Mark Cuban, anybody who's involved in that Dallas Mavericks organization, I would tell you my pick right now. If Dallas were to win this series, I'm going to tell you the MVP, who I think should be the MVP of this series. And no, it's not Luka Doncic. It's going to be Mr. Jalen Brunson. Because ever since Jalen Brunson took over for Luka Doncic, whenever he was out, he would go out and straight up ball. He was straight up ball out. And he is the reason why Dallas has won those games whenever Luka Doncic was out. So, I mean, going into the series, we said we were going back and forth saying that if Luka was going to be out for the majority of the series, that Dallas was going to struggle. Well, he was out for what? 2 games of the series? 3 games of the series?
Mm-hmm.
And did they struggle? No, because Jalen Brunson took his spot and had pretty much the 2 best games of his life.
Yep.
So I mean, he is the reason why Dallas is ahead in this series. Of course, everybody's going to say, well, we got Luka Doncic back, so that's why we're up in the series.
But Brunson seems like he's been playing in this series the entire time like a star. That's what's crazy.
Exactly. And that is why he should be my pick to win MVP of this series if Dallas were to win.
Before I go to you, Randy, I was just reading some stats here. This is crazy. Dallas has not advanced out of any round since the 2011 finals. It's crazy.
Wow.
Absolutely crazy. And also last night for the Jazz, Clarkson had 20. Gobert had 17 and 11 rebounds. That was the lowest scoring game for them as far as losses, basically, since Dallas blew them out in 2018 by 50, 118-68. In that, like that's ironic. If I don't know what ironic is, the fact that Dallas blew them out by 50 in 2018, and Clarkson and Gobert didn't have that was the lowest scoring points for them. With that stretch, with those stats, and then Mitchell in the first 4 games had 30 points, but last night only had 9 points and just struggled. He could not play like that going back to Utah. Utah was also 3 for 30 from the 3-point line, 10%. That is not gonna win you games, and shot 38% overall from the field. Just did not have an efficient game. And going back down 3 games to 2 at their home floor, they can possibly win this game, but Mitchell has to play better.
Yeah, there's talk that he may miss the game. They're not sure. He got hurt at the end of the game last night, they're saying now. So Mitchell may not even play. They better hope that he does.
Because of the hamstring injury, yep.
Yeah, they better hope that he does, because he's the key. If this like you said, Utah every year is good in the regular season, gets to the playoffs, and a couple of times they were on the cusp there, but for whatever reason they just kind of falter at the end there. But if they don't win this series or this year, they're going to break up Gobert, and they're going to break up get Mitchell out of there, and all the other Mike Conley and all that. They're going to get them out of there and probably start from scratch. I hope not for their sake, but it's looking like that's what's going to happen. But I really like watching Doncic play. It looks easy to him. It's unbelievable. He's so good. And he's actually what's crazy is he's a winner. He won overseas. He won the big tournament over there. I can't think of it right offhand, but he's already won that at 19. I mean, this guy, nothing's
crazy.
going to freak this cat. So it's only onward and upward for that dude, man. I'm going to enjoy watching him for years to come, and he's something else. And he needs this, and he doesn't really even need a lot of help. I mean, maybe a big man to kind of take a little bit of pressure off of him, but man, they're going to be set up. He ever gets any help, it's going to be they're going to be tough to beat for sure.
Yes,
absolutely crazy. Kevin, what are your thoughts on what are your
I'll
thoughts
say
as
again,
far as
though, my last thought on it. Here's the thing: you can't teach leadership. Luka
Nope.
Doncic has it. He has the it factor. He has the Giannis factor. Guys like that who you can't teach it. You can't coach it. You can't teach it. It's just something that is you're born with. And Luka has that. He has his boys ready to play. Whether he plays or not, he has ready to play. And to be honest, it's crazy because Dallas is not even playing with their best defender right now. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been out the whole series.
Yep.
And honestly,
Absolutely.
Here's what I think about it. Now, I know we're speculating in the offseason, but if I'm Dallas and after I see Utah break up, I would go after Rudy Gobert to help out Luka Doncic to take some of that pressure, like Randy was saying. Someone who can rebound the ball, set picks, get inside, get offensive boards, take the pressure off of you and Jalen outside. Somebody inside.
Exactly.
Because Kristaps Porzingis, obviously, that was not it. Jesus Christ, he sucks, son.
And not only
someone
that,
like Rudy Gobert, though, he's a proven defender, a proven rebounder, and to be honest, I think that's where Utah's fucking up too. They need to give Rudy more touch. I think they went away when the Jazz won Game 4 the other day. You know why it was? They did the pick and roll, and Gobert touched the ball on every possession all the way in the last 5 minutes of the game, including the game-winning alley-oop. So Gobert needs to touch the ball more. I think he just gets overlooked as an offensive player.
Absolutely. And I think another huge factor in this game that also led to the Jazz absolutely being ran out of the gym is the fact that in that second quarter, they went through a 6-minute period when they didn't score a single bucket. And Dallas went on that 22-4 run to go up 52-36, leading at halftime. And Dallas just never looked back. I mean, they were the more aggressive team on the defensive side of the board. And Utah has got to come out in a better paced game come Thursday if they want to force this back to a Game 7. It is absolutely crazy how Utah has been in the playoffs 6 consecutive years and have not done really nothing.
Nothing.
Dallas has somewhat of an excuse because they've been rebuilding, for the past past 4 or 5 years. But now that they got caliber players on their team, it looks like Dallas might be advancing out of their first round win series since winning the championship in 2011 against Miami in 6 games. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Can Luka continue his dominance in Utah on the road? And will Donovan Mitchell, even if he plays, will that hamstring be a huge factor to his minutes being not only limited, but will his output on the offensive end and will he be limited, and will also his defensive pressure on Luka be really hammered as well. And it's going to be a really interesting game on Thursday between those two. Now we go to the series that we thought was going to be over, but it's not over. We're talking about the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets. Somehow, some way, the Nuggets are staying alive. They come up with the Game 4 victory against Golden State, 118-113, and finally, Jokic finally got some help. He still had a great game, 37 points, 18 rebounds, had a hell of a game. But here's the problem with Denver. They were up 17. Golden State was just screwing around. Oh, we're up 3-0. We ain't got nothing to do. We're just, we got shit to do, and then by them fumbling with that game, they went on that run in that fourth quarter and they still almost won the game. Denver still almost blew it. So that's why I don't trust Denver in going back to game 5 for tomorrow, because, I mean, the pressure is still on them because they're on the road against Golden State, and Golden State is going to, I think they're going to absolutely destroy Denver in San Francisco back at the Chase Center. I mean, there's no questions asked. Golden State is clearly the best team right now in these playoffs. I mean, Curry's back healthy. Thompson's healthy. Green is playing his ass off. Poole is playing unbelievable basketball. I mean, this kid is got so much confidence right now bestowed upon him thanks to Curry and all the boys. He is playing like a 5, 6, 7-year pro right now. It is absolutely amazing. Honestly, Golden State now has me more of a fan of them in a way because I like their brand of basketball. Because now that KD is no longer on the team in the past couple of years, Golden State finally has their caliber players back healthy and playing at a high caliber level. Golden State right now, I know it's early on in the playoffs, but Golden State is the best team clearly in the postseason right now. They're the best, healthiest, consistent team in this postseason. And Kevin, since you are the Golden State fanatic, I'll go to you first. Take it away, my friend.
I am concerned about Golden State's size inside and the mismatch a lot because it's been exposed, but they've got enough firepower to overcome that. And what I'm saying is, it for a Nuggets fan or for Jokic, that win came at a cost. It has to be demoralizing because your rookie players, your bench players scored. 4 people scored 20 plus points for you to help Jokic. Okay, cool, but you got to realize that you still only won because Wiggins thought he was in the 2021 slam dunk contest and tried to put back windmill dunk it and missed, and then they gave up the 3, obviously, to put them ahead for good, but still, Golden State came all the way back, took the lead after fucking around, turning it over, playing like horse crap, which we've seen Golden State do all the way back in 2015. They get up 3-0, they bullshit. They don't even care. Even when Kevin Durant was there against the Cavs the first year, guess what? Game 4, you up 3-0. Who cares? Whatever. We'll end it at home. That's Golden State's mindset. What I'm proud of for Golden State is look how hot their players are. Klay Thompson looks like the 2018 Klay Thompson. He took 4 dribbles and scored 33 points. 4 dribbles. He was stroking it. Steph Curry stroking it, 34 points. Jordan Poole had a pedestrian game and Draymond fouled out. But other than that, if they don't turn the ball over, they win game 4, even with the Nuggets scoring like they did. So I think this one's over game 5, like Kenny Smith said. With all that being said, they're going to get ran out the Chase Center in game 5.
I stand corrected
by 20.
I stand corrected on the score. It's 126-121. Anyways, but Denver still won that game. But the Warriors,
they're going to get ran out the building.
Exactly.
Ran out the building in the Chase Center.
Golden State, 20 turnovers in that game. Just, you can't have that. I mean, this was their fumbling around game, basically. They had, but game 5, they got to win this. And they probably more than likely are going to win this game. I mean, Klay and Steph, when they got hot, they almost won in the game. I mean, when these 2 dudes get hot, lightning hot, it's just, oof. There's nobody stopping them. Nobody.
It's a fun brand of basketball to watch, though. I'll tell you that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Joey,
I think I'm sorry. I think Golden State's done playing with them. I think that they let Denver have whatever fun they were going to have there. Like I said, you guys hit the nail on the head. They were just screwing around. They didn't really give it down. If we win, it's okay. If not, we'll close it out at home. That's all. But I think that's all I got. I just think they're done playing with them, and they'll show why they're the class of the league in either way.
Absolutely. Joey?
Well, there's not really much I can say. The Warriors, I think they felt sorry for the Nuggets. They were like, this Denver team is actually not that bad. We've already kicked their butts over the first 3 games of the series. So Oh, what the heck? Oh, what the heck? We'll just give him a game, and then we'll close it out in front of our home fans in Game 5. So, I mean,
Exactly.
there's not much I can say. I mean, the Warriors are just an all-around great put-together team that Steve Kerr has built from the bottom up. And if you have a team that has Curry, Thompson, Green, an up-and-coming star in Jordan Poole, I mean, oh gosh, I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, the Warriors.
Well, I know what to say on this game. Golden State had 20 turnovers in this game, and Denver had 30 points off of those turnovers. They also shot 36 free throws in this game and made 15 threes. That is a recipe for success. But Denver has to play like they're like the desperate team tomorrow in Game 5. They have to, because Jokic has to get help once again from Morris, who, by the way, in this game this past Sunday had 24 points, and Gordon had 21. He needs to have that kind of help again. He needs to have help from all of those guys on that team to have a chance. And the one thing that Jokic also has to do is he has to not only play consistent, but he has to play with a clear head on his shoulders, because we know how he gets, boys. He gets flustered. When nothing's going his way, he starts pitching a fit, and acting like a hooligan, and then he gets technicals and he gets ejected.
He gets tossed.
He gets tossed like the Nets got tossed in Game 4 out of the playoffs. But
look,
anyway.
There's one thing that Steve Kerr has exposed out of Jokic, I will say, and that is he is so unathletic that he can't play a lick of defense. So they get him to switch on Curry in the pick and roll, and it's just they have him running all game long. Like, Jokic is tired. You could see it on his face.
Yeah,
They're
he's
having
very
him every possession, and Curry, whoop, scatter, left, right, crossover, fake shot, drive by, score, drive by, score, drive by, score. Jokic is running back on offense, tired as hell. So Steve Kerr is just wearing his legs down, getting Jokic, trying to get him flustered, frustrated, same thing. So that's a smart move by Steve Kerr. Good coach.
Very good coach. And right now, before we get to this, before we get to the next game in this series, we're going to go to the Miami series. But as of right now, Miami and Atlanta are playing. It is 22-21 Atlanta right now. And so that is something to keep looking upon from.
Not really surprising, seeing as they sat Jimmy Butler for this game to rest his knee, and they sat Kyle Lowry for his hamstring. Miami's essentially playing their second unit against Atlanta. They're kind of like toying with them too.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, Miami is clearly the better team than Atlanta, but they're an interesting team to me, because they have a lot of going on, when it comes to, like, are they good? Yes. But to me, they're probably the weakest number one seed in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when they play good, but it's just consistency. They can't consistently play defense like they are able to. They're not consistently scoring. But I will say one thing. I'm impressed with Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler has shown his ass this series, and I'm finally we've been waiting for this since his Chicago days.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
Glad Jimmy Buckets is balling.
Absolutely. He is playing so great, is Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
Not a doubt.
And we'll go to that game. So obviously Miami took Game 4 to go up 3-1, thanks to Jimmy Butler. And just an outstanding performance by Butler in Miami. Kevin, I'll go to you first on this game. What were your thoughts on Miami's performance in Game 4?
Miami's tough, man. I not just Game 4, the whole series. They've done a tremendous job. Like the defense, we know they're capable of playing. They're playing it against Trae Young. Trae Young has said he has not been guarded like that since his high school days. He has not seen triple teams, quadruple teams, this and that. They're daring other Atlanta Hawks to score 40, and they can't do it. and they're eating them up inside. Bam Adebayo is one of the best centers in the league. He's going to be one of the best centers in the league, no doubt, both ends of the floor. Jimmy Butler, like we just said, game 3 or 4, one of the two, he had a 40 nugget piece on his back, made it look easy, and just completely made Trae Young's life a living hell. And 6th man of the year, Tyler Hero, gotta love his game. Kyle Lowry hasn't even played in 3 games.
Nope.
And with his hamstring, and they're still looking pretty good. Miami's got a solid chance of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Definitely. I will say that because of how the seeds fall. And it looks like the winner of that Philly and Toronto series will be heading to Miami. And if Miami plays the way they do, I can see them just blowing them right out the gates on that series, especially if Adebayo can hold Embiid or whoever, Siakam. Miami's got a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals in my eyes.
Right. And before I go to you, Joey, on this game, real quick, in that second quarter, Miami was down by 8 points, and then Butler led a surging charge for the Heat on a 26-4 run to go up by 14. Butler alone scored 13 points in that quarter to put him up by 14.
Oh, yeah.
And just absolutely, because, I mean, in game 3, Miami was up by 14, and they blew that lead.
Yep.
And just absolutely dominance. Butler was really good in this game. Really good in this game. He had 12 points in the fourth quarter, 5 of 7. Absolutely amazing how Butler is playing. He's averaging 30 points for the entire series, shooting 54% from the field, and 7 of 16 from the three-point line. So absolutely great performance by Butler in this series. Joey, what are your thoughts on game 4 between the Heat and the Hawks? All right, we'll go to Randy. Randy, what are your thoughts on this game?
Sorry.
Oh, no,
Joe. You have one job, sir. You're like Kyrie and Durant. You fumbled it. You blew it. Go ahead.
I forgot. I was on mute.
False start on Joey. That's a 5-yard penalty. Retry your point.
Oh, hush. Anyway, as I was saying, Miami, they are playing good in this series. I'll give them that. I mean, Jimmy Butler is shooting the ball at will. Kyle Lowry is doing a great job doing what Jimmy Butler can't do, and Miami's just doing a great job when it comes to playing offensive-minded and defensive-minded basketball. But the one thing that still concerns me about Miami is how long they can keep this up for. Because, yeah, they're playing Atlanta right now, but Atlanta is not really that good of a team outside of Trae Young and maybe Clint Capella. Atlanta is not that good of a team. I mean, if you were to put this Miami team up against, say, the likes of a Boston or a Philadelphia, surprisingly, I said Philadelphia, a Milwaukee or a Toronto, I mean, Miami would be struggling. So I give my props to Miami right now because they're playing some great ball. But that's my main concern is how long they can actually keep this up for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they get flustered at any point, it's going to come back and bite them in the butt. Plain and simple.
And I'll tell you one thing that I've been following NBA, from being on here and everything this whole season, really. But I was surprised that when I, found out that Miami was the number 1 seed. I know there was talk of them, a couple different teams, seeding wise, opposed to some games here and there. But I think Miami has quietly put together a pretty good run the last couple seasons. I mean, they were in the finals against the Lakers at the Disney
the Mickey Mouse bubble.
Mickey Mouse fiasco there, but they were in that finals. They were great last year. I mean, and this year, of course, it was the number 1 seed. But I think I think you guys are right. There's something missing, it seems, with that team. They got a lot of scores. I mean, they don't even seem like they're a team from the East. They're not, like that team that grinds it out. They either
Right.
blow you out or lose by 20. I mean, they're just a weird team, and they're just well coached, of course, but we'll see. Yeah, second round will be the big test for them. They'll easily get by. They may even get by tonight without the two gentlemen. Win without the two guys. They can probably close it out tonight without Butler or Lowry. I mean, that says a lot about Miami. But yeah, I think the last couple of years, but it doesn't get me excited enough to say that they're gonna, go on to the finals or even or Eastern Conference Finals or finals for that matter. I think that's either Milwaukee or Boston, to be honest.
Right. And also, before we go on to the next game, in this win, Miami's win 110-86. When Miami's defense is piping hot and they're really good, they know how to limit other teams' scoring outputs. I mean, clearly the stats right here, the Heat scored 48 points to Atlanta's 26 points in the paint. If Atlanta is going to force this series to a game number 6, their paint production has got to be better. Because in game 3 in their win, they only had 23 points in the paint. They got to be better with the points in the paint tonight in game 5. They have to. I mean, when Miami's defense is suffocating, they're one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. I mean, man, they're good. But speaking of good, in this case, what's not good if you are a Phoenix Suns fan? Oh, brother, do we have a problem, Phoenix? You have the pesky New Orleans Pelicans pecking at your door. And the series is going back to Phoenix, tied at 2 games apiece.
Oh,
The way that New Orleans played against Phoenix, man, there is just no questions right now. The way New Orleans is playing, they are the better team right now. And I know it's crazy to say, but like Rasheed Wallace once said, ball don't lie. And in this case, it don't lie. Because in game 4, Phoenix lost 118-103. And man, it is a proven fact that Devin Booker is a huge missing piece for this Phoenix team. Chris Paul might be the engine that makes the car go, but Devin Booker is the gas that fuels that fire. Ooh, yeah. And that's Metallica reference for you guys that don't know that. Anyways, so but with Booker being out, Chris Paul has all the pressure on him. And man, Cam Johnson, Bridges, they all have to play better. Here's the difference between Phoenix and New Orleans right now before I go to you guys. Ingram, my goodness, is this dude a stud? He's had 3 30-point games out of the 4 games in this series against Phoenix. And CJ McCollum, he may not be the star player, but he sure is one hell of an asset to New Orleans. That's why they are tied at 2 games in peace. And may I add before I go to you guys, the Lakers lost that trade because they traded away all their great role players to the Pelicans, and the Pelicans have a clear better team, and this is why they're 2-2 against Phoenix. And the pressure is on Phoenix as we speak. Joey, yeah. I'll go to you, Joey, first. What are your thoughts on game number 4 from between the Pelicans and the Suns on Sunday? And man, what a crazy game by Ingram and the guys.
I'm telling you guys right now, Phoenix breezed through the regular season with a 64-18 record. Easily the best record in the pros. Probably the best record that we've seen in an 82-game regular season since the Warriors went 73-9 in the regular season a few years back. So the Suns, definitely a high-profile NBA team that just breezed through everybody in the regular season. Now comes the postseason, when you couldn't find out your opponent until after a few playing games. So it's like, yeah, usually the ones in the play-in tournament are weaker teams or teams that don't match up to Phoenix's standards. However,
Right.
the one thing that has or that I've been thinking about regarding this whole series is the fact that Phoenix has a great team. Phoenix has a great team. However, the one thing that kills a great team is if you have one player who suffers an injury of some sort, it tends to make the whole team crash or collapse. I mean, how many times have we seen that happen before? How many times have we seen it? A lot. We've seen it a lot. And I'm telling you right now, the Pelicans, they're actually playing much better basketball than what I thought they were at this point in time. So, I mean, they've even taken the game of the series out in Phoenix. And tonight, tonight they're in Phoenix again. So, I'm not pushing a panic button for Phoenix just yet. However, if the Pelicans do take another game in Phoenix tonight, if I was Alvin Gentry, I would start pressing that panic button. I would press it hard and press it until you couldn't press it anymore. I mean,
Right.
Phoenix needs to win this game tonight. Yes, they're going to be without Devin Booker. I understand that. However, Phoenix has other great players like Chris Paul and all these other guys who can actually step up and lead the team in Devin Booker's absence. I mean, Phoenix has proven they can win without Booker in their lineup. They've proven that, which is why, I mean, whenever Chris Paul missed all those games in the regular season, Devin Booker gathered his team together and said, hey, we're going to be without our starting point guard for a while. So let's go out and play like we know how to play. And that's how they were able to win so many games in Chris Paul's absence. So now Chris Paul needs to do the same and say, hey, we've been without Booker for the last 2 games, and we're going to be without him again tonight. We can win without him in the lineup. So we need to go out and dedicate this game to him and go out and play like the team that we know or play like the team that knows how to play ball. So Phoenix needs to go out and win this game tonight. Otherwise, they're going to be in big time trouble.
Good Lord. Before I go to you, Kevin, on this game, I mean, these stats are absolutely crazy. I mean, in that third quarter, the pivotal third quarter that changed that game, Phoenix was up and at halftime. And New Orleans went on this crazy run, led by Ingram, scoring 18 of his 30 points in the third quarter to put New Orleans up on Phoenix. And man, the biggest thing for me is the fact that you had rookies, I tell you, on New Orleans in Jones and Alvarado that absolutely balled their asses off on the defensive end. They were playing like they've been playing for 8-10 years. Yeah, they weren't household names coming out of the draft, but these dudes absolutely were amazing for New Orleans in this game. I mean, my goodness. I mean, you had Alvarado forcing an 8-second violation on Chris Paul. Who the hell does that? A rookie does that. That is just insane. The blocking the 3 by Jones stealing a pass in the backcourt. The flagrant foul on Chris Paul. Just a few takeaways from that game that sealed Phoenix's fate. And Kevin, I'll go to you for your thoughts on this game.
Tell you one thing that's pretty interesting about the ties of these two teams. The head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans, Willie Green, was actually Chris Paul's teammate in New Orleans and during Chris Paul's tenure. And guess who the head coach was of both of them? Monty Williams, current Phoenix Suns head coach. The ties are crazy, but I like what they call him Grand Theft Alvarado.
You're damn right they do.
I find it funny. Look, the guy, he'll hide in the baseline, make it seem like he's a bench player celebrating, and then he creeps up on you and steals the ball before you can get inbound it. And I love his tactics, man. And you could tell they got in Chris Paul's head. and you could tell they're in the whole Suns' head. They're giving them problems. And Brandon Ingram, he's proven that as good as Mikal Bridges is on the defensive end, you can't check a pure scorer. Phoenix cannot stop someone who's a pure scorer. And Brandon Ingram's a pure scorer. Him and C.J. McCollum, man, I love that trade. I love them getting C.J. McCollum. They went from 14th in the West to 8th in the West, and giving the number 1 seed a run for their money. I do think Phoenix will take care of business and end it in 6 or 7 games because they've got the coach of the year. Monty Williams is one fabulous coach. But if I'm Phoenix, I'm hitting the panic button because maybe not in the next round, but like we see athletes, hamstring injuries, they linger. So Devin Booker's hamstring lingers and they face Golden State in 2 weeks in the Western Conference Finals, I think Golden State can beat them in 5 games because the one game they played them this season, Golden State won by 29 points against the Suns without Klay Thompson, without Jordan Poole rising up. It was Steph Curry and Draymond by themselves. And let's be honest, this year as well, the Warriors have the Suns' numbers. They went 2-2 against the Suns, but that don't tell the story. The Suns' win came without Steph Curry and without Draymond Green for the second win. Both of Golden State's wins have come when one of them came with Devin Booker hurt, but both wins came with no Klay Thompson. So if I'm Phoenix, I'm looking ahead like, oh shit, we need Devin Booker. Maybe they need to sit him the whole next series just to make sure he's good. I don't know. Maybe they can take care of Memphis or Minnesota. I don't know. They just got to figure it out, man, because Chris Paul ain't that. He'll go give you a 35-point piece once in a while, but he's not going to do that consistently. And Devin Booker, when you talk about scoring, we've seen this guy put up 71 points in 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is insane. We've watched him do that, so we know the scoring capability of Devin Booker is. But Chris Paul, I think they need to use DeAndre Ayton more because in game 3, they used Ayton. He had 30 points, 20 in the first half. And it's like they just stopped going to him. And I'm dumbfounded as why. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Keep going back to it. They proven they couldn't stop Ayton, but you know what? They still just quit going to him. But the Pelicans, they still went with their bread and butter. Okay, Ingram scoring, give him the damn ball. McCollum shooting lights out, give him the damn ball.
Right.
And that's why they're got the series tied 2-2, heading back to Phoenix. So Monty Williams needs to make some adjustments. I know he will. Hopefully, Chris Paul can shake that. Because we've seen how Chris Paul is.
Yep.
When people get in his head is when their teams start to go haywire because he's such a good leader. And I'm saying that as a compliment. He's a good leader. So when someone gets under his skin, it's like the whole team is scurrying around trying to figure the shit out, and they can't. So I think Phoenix wins, but I think they're gonna get a hell of a dogfight out of it.
Exactly. Randy, your thoughts on this game from Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not sold on Phoenix. I haven't been sold on them all year. They're just like those flash in the pan Suns teams back in the day, and a couple of other teams in the West. You know, somebody said steamroll through the whole season, and that's it. I think they're getting exposed right now, and I think I think they'll probably beat New Orleans. And I hope they don't. You know, just to kind of prove a point. But I think that. But once they start getting into Memphis or Golden State, they won't have a chance. Especially if they don't have Booker, they will be in trouble. So I just think that Phoenix could be in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Especially if they lose tonight at home. Oh, my Lord.
Go ahead, Kevin. What's up?
Go ahead.
I said that's tough. If they lose tonight, they're going back to New Orleans down 3-2 without Devin Booker. That's going to be very interesting. And like they were saying on ESPN, Phoenix's best chance to win it all was clearly last year. That window has slowly closed down because look at the teams in the West this year. You got John Morant playing like an MVP, coming out of nowhere. We thought Kawhi Leonard was going to be back this year. We thought LeBron was going to do something this year. We knew Golden State was going to come back on all cylinders this year. Phoenix last year had basically a cakewalk. So, I mean, that was their number one chance. And by them not winning it last year, I think their chance is over. Poor Chris Paul. I think he just don't win a ring in his career. Another Charles Barkley.
Yep. And some stats from this game. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 32 points in this game. And also, Kevin knows this guy very well, and so does Joe, and you do too, Randy, as well as do I. Grayson Allen.
Grayson Jordan? Oh, Grayson Allen.
Yeah. That guy. Allen had 27 points in game 4 after scoring 22 points in game 3's win over the Bulls. I mean, just outstanding performance by the defending champions because the Bucks look like defending champions and they look like a championship team should. Phoenix does not. This is two teams that are totally two different teams because Phoenix does not have the role players that Milwaukee has. I mean, Allen having 2 consistent back-to-back games in this series against Chicago. I mean, just outstanding performance. And this is the mentality that a great team has. When Middleton, being, injury plagued and all that stuff, next man up. And that's the way you have to be with a great team. Holiday doing his damage, Allen doing his thing, Lopez, a crafty veteran, and all that stuff. And also Zach LaVine had 24 points in the loss for Chicago, and DeMar DeRozan had 23. Here's a bad part for Chicago in the game 5. LaVine is he is going to probably be out of this game because of COVID protocols. So that could be a huge reason why Chicago is going to be out of this series in 5. I mean, just a huge blow for Chicago because Chicago has had a great year all year long. And I know if Ezra was on here tonight, he would be saying the same thing that, yes, Chicago's had a great year, but, they're clearly outmatched because, I mean, even though with LaVine being a great player with Chicago and DeMar DeRozan doing his thing all year, I mean, they clearly are outmatched by the defending champion Bucks and heading into game 5. And Milwaukee won game 4, 119-95, cruising on cruise control. Now we're going to go to the game that we've all been waiting for to talk about. We said it last week, didn't we, fellas?
Yeah. We sure did.
We said it last Tuesday on this show. We would not be surprised if the Boston Celtics, that's right, the Boston Celtics, the team that everybody thought was not going to close consistently in close games, was not going to be a great team to the Brooklyn Nets led by Kyrie, KD, and the boys. Well, the Celtics said, hold our beers, boys, because in this series, the Celtics absolutely clean sweep Brooklyn out of the playoffs. That's right. The Celtics absolutely took the brooms to the Nets' asses and said, get the hell out of the playoffs. Because, man, what a hell of a performance by Boston in this series. When you thought Boston couldn't follow up a dramatic Game 1 victory last Sunday, they did play consistent basketball in this series against the Nets. They won all 4 games without hardly surrendering the lead. Brooklyn was up by 15 points in Game 2, and Boston still won by double digits. Game 3, it was close. Boston still pulled away. Game 4, Boston went up by 15, but Brooklyn came storming back, led by Durant and them, and they came back to get within 3, and then Durant had to miss that free throw. That was the critical free throw. They could have cut it to 1, but he missed it. He was 10 of 11 from the free throw line on Monday night, had 39 points in the loss. But the biggest takeaway from me in this series loss for the Nets, and they have no damn excuses, Kyrie Irving, you are the reason why Brooklyn was a 7 seed. Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell, the voices of the Celtics Radio Network, said it best. The Nets were the best 7 seed team in the playoff history. But with Kyrie not playing the majority of the year due to not being vaccinated and getting his vaccination status and playing, fortunately for Kyrie, the COVID protocols were dropped in the later half of the year and almost from the season being over, and Kyrie was able to play the rest of the way. But that wasn't enough. Kyrie was not good in this series predominantly, besides game number 1, scoring 39 points and 18 points in that fourth quarter in game 1 this past Sunday last week. The rest of the way, Kyrie has been basically held in check. And last night, he had a pretty solid performance, 6 of 13 from the field, but that's not good enough. He had 20 something points, something like that. I'm not looking at the stats right now. I'm just on top of my head. He had 20 plus points, and it still wasn't good enough because he wasn't being consistent with the ball as far as being aggressive. But KD was. Yeah, KD had a great game, 39 points, but he was only 13 to 31 from the field, and that's not good. But KD still was productive. But the biggest reason why the Nets lost this series, in my opinion, no production hardly from the role players. I mean, just not consistent play in basketball. And I'm going to send it off to you guys first. And I'm going to start with you, Kevin, because, Kevin, I know you have a lot to say about this game and about this series in general. So, Kev, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Listen, I'm going to start out with the Boston Celtics. Let's keep it real. Since the All-Star break, the Boston Celtics have the best record in the NBA.
Yep.
They figured their crap out. First year head coach Mike Udoka or whatever, he has figured his crap out. They finally got their system, and the best move they could have made was move Marcus Smart to the point guard. And by the way, defensive player of the year, the first time since the glove Gary Payton himself that a guard has won defensive player of the year. And this team, the Boston Celtics, are proving that why they're the best defensive team by far in NBA. They have 3 all-NBA defenders in my eyes, starting with Marcus Smart, Robert Williams in the paint, who didn't even play the first
He was a force to be reckoned with last night.
And on defense. Then you got the other guy that was guarding Kevin Durant the whole series, not Tatum, but number 12 for them, the light-skinned guy. He's very good on defense. It's crazy how good they are. And to watch Marcus Smart sit there and lock down arguably one of the best ball handlers since Allen Iverson in Kyrie Irving, it's been beautiful to watch, because nobody talks about defense in the NBA no more. And I'll give you a hot take right now. As of right now, going off what I've seen, and this is coming from a Warriors fan, but the Boston Celtics might be that much better than everybody else in the NBA right now at this point. Just beating out the Golden State Warriors and teams like that, and Giannis and the Bucks. But Boston, to me, is that team. They are those guys. Jason Tatum has clearly came into his own the last couple of years, completely developed into a superstar. I'm proud of him. He's a stud. And Jaylen Brown, this was the team just in November. Everybody was questioning, who should get traded, Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? Now those guys are completely beating up on Kevin Durant and the Nets. And number 2, I got to say that, they literally beat the Nets in the fourth quarter without Jason Tatum because of a bullshit call to foul him out. So the Celtics' best player fouls out, and they still controlled the Brooklyn Nets. Now, that's what I got to say about that. I'll move on to you, Brooklyn, who you need to be swept with a push broom throughout the floor. Get that crap off the playoffs, because you won just as many games in the playoffs as LeBron fucking James this year. You have 0 wins. 0. And you come out there and, Kevin Durant, you made your bed. Now you got to lie in it. You made your bed, now you got to lie in it. You literally gave away teammates like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, who promoted himself to come off the bench to make other players better. Teammates and leaders like that to join Kyrie Irving, who can't even show up for fucking work. Basically, he gets paid. He doesn't show up to work. I don't want a shot. I'm not working. Oh, my mind's messed up. I'm not working. I don't want to work. He's played 50 or more games 0 times in the last 8 years. And you know what? This has nothing to do with Kevin Durant. I love him. I don't think he was bitched. He put up 39. He did what he did. But you know what? Kevin Durant should feel betrayed by this team because he gave his heart. He left the Golden State Warriors. He left Paradise to say, hey, I got your back, Kyrie. I love you, Kyrie. I got your back. I'm your boy. I'm going to be here for you. And you know what? Kyrie Irving failed to have Kevin Durant's back. And that's facts. Same thing with the other scrub on this team. Bench Simmons. Dude, your team is down 0-3. And you are a predominant reason why you are going to be their defensive genius, which you are, a great defender, a great playmaker. I will admit that. But when you sit there and have no heart for the game of basketball to let your new team down just as much as you let the Philadelphia 76ers down, it's embarrassing. You ain't nothing but a punk. That's a punk move like Shaquille O'Neal called it. You don't come out there and get paid millions of dollars just to say, oh, my back is sore. I'm not going to play game 4. You're a punk, dude. Like, you have no heart for the game. You have no desire, no competitive edge, just like Reggie Miller said. No fire in your game. You should have been fired up because you know what's sad? Let's go to Toronto Raptors for just 1 second. Their rookie who sprained his ankle pretty damn bad, Scotty Barnes, Rookie of the Year, guess what? He might not can move that good, but damn it, he's playing. He's giving his heart. He's playing. He's showing that he loves his team. He's got their back, and damn it, he's going to do what they can. And guess what? He had 11 rebounds the other day. He did something to help them. What did Ben Simmons do? Do nothing but dress up like a fucking Fruit Loop, sitting on the bench with his Gucci glasses on, watching Kyrie Irving choke it up, and the Nets choke, losing the playoffs.
That's right. That's right.
It's embarrassing. And you know what, Nets fans, NBA experts, I don't want to hear it. What's the narrative this year? Last year, Kyrie was hurt. They couldn't be honest because Kyrie was hurt. Well, guess what? Kyrie wasn't hurt at all. He just got shut the fuck down by Marcus Smart and he gets swept by the Boston Celtics. What's the narrative this year? And don't get me started. Steve Nash needs to get the fuck out of Brooklyn. They need to run him out of the whole state of New York. He's a horrible head coach. You paid $150 to $200 million on scrubs like Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, Patty Mills, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, now them. You know what? Your front office sucks. Your team sucks. Your coaching sucks. And damn it, Kevin Durant has made his bed and he has to lie in it. I'm sorry, KD. Greatest scorer of all time. Not going to take away from that. But you literally left Paradise in 2008, 2019, and you had it made. If you stay on the Golden State Warriors, you're a 4-time NBA champion. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. If you don't get hurt, you're a back-to-back-to-back champion, beating the Toronto Raptors. You left because Draymond told you something that you knew was true in your heart, and it hurt your feelings. Draymond said, and I quote, we don't need you, bro. You needed us. We won a championship for you got here. You didn't win shit. Now look at it this year. Golden State Warriors are the favorites to win it again, and Kevin Durant swept out the first round. So who needed who? Kevin Durant's just in his feelings, and I'm sorry, but Kyrie Irving is not. He don't have your back. You should feel betrayed, and that's for Steve Nash too. You gave your all this money to Kyrie Irving just for it to be legal bank robbery. He robbed you out of $55 million just to sit on the sideline for half of the games this season, and then to choke it up in game 4 of an elimination game and let Marcus Smart straight punk him the entire game. Get out of here, man. That team ain't worth a crap. And honestly, that team's lucky to be in the position they're in. If it wasn't for Kevin Durant, they'll be in the same damn record as the fucking Los Angeles Lakers. Thank you. Super teams ain't shit no more in the league. Let's face it. It's about who can build and who can make the right plays and the best coaching, which I love. The era of the super team is now over.
Can I get a witness up in here? Oh my goodness. K-Rod, you just took us to school with some facts there, brother. And before I go to you, Joey, on this game, another thing that hit me hard on this game, the free throw percentages. Oh my goodness. I mean, the Celtics shot 82% from the free throw line. Brooklyn, how about the tune of 17 of 29? And predominantly 17 of 29. Why you say and why you wondering? Oh, some guy named Claxton. That's right. Claxton, 1 for 11 from the free throw line. It was Hecka Claxton, and it was working to tradition. And the fact that Steve Nash was so dumb, the fact that he did not take him out of the game, because Boston went on that run in that third quarter to go up by 15. Why? Because Claxton was still in the damn game, and he couldn't hit a damn fucking free throw to save his life. He was breaking these free throws. And the fact that Nash leaves him in the game, it just goes to show you if a great coach thinks with his freaking head. I wonder, Steve Kerr, Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, if they see that they're hacking their guy who is the weakest link on their free throw team, they're going to take him out of the game. Kevin, you know this. Splitter, yes. Thiago Splitter from the Spurs. He was their weakest free throw shooter on the Spurs all those years. And when they went to hack a Splitter, Popovich said, okay, we're going to take you out of the game. Because he knew, if I keep keeping him in the game is going to slow down and the other team is possibly going to go up on us. Well, this is why Brooklyn also lost the series. And also, may I add in game 3, what was so hilarious before I go to you, Joey, on this? At the end of that game, Jason Tatum had a classic steal strip of Kyrie Irving and took it for the two-hand jam. Oh, that was amazing. Jason Tatum outplayed Kyrie in this series. He went toe-to-toe with Durant because that's what great players do. Tatum had 29 points in that Game 4 performance before he fouled out over that bullshit call by the referees. And may I add, the referees wanted to give Brooklyn that game. And they said, we want to give – Yep, absolutely. They wanted Brooklyn to get at least the game. And they didn't. Why? Because the Nets don't have a complete team around KD and who's Kyrie? Oh, that guy who's sitting on his ass at home out of the playoffs. But anyways, Joey, your thoughts on this Nets and Celtics series?
I happened to see something on Facebook earlier today showing that at the beginning of this NBA season, there were 2 teams that were easily picked to be the 2 teams representing their respective conferences in the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. And they were the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers.
I wonder where those teams are at.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. This is one thing that NBA writers forget to realize. And Kevin, you mentioned it earlier. Super teams don't mean nothing anymore. Yeah, they meant something back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant days. They meant something back then. But nowadays, you got all these young guns who are physically and mentally, and yes, I said mentally, outplaying these so-called veterans who are supposed to be the top dogs in this league, but yet they're getting outplayed by little tiny puppy dogs. At least that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. They're getting outplayed by these little tiny puppy dogs. And honestly, I love it. I love it because it's finally given these young guns a chance to say, you know what? We have admired your gameplay over the past few years, but now it's time for y'all to step down because it is our turn to take a stand. And that is what Boston did in this series with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown just completely, freaking utterly completely taking over this series. And, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Super teams don't mean jack crap anymore.
Nope. They absolutely do not.
And Milwaukee proved it last year whenever they took Phoenix to the limit and won the NBA Finals in 6 games. Milwaukee, y'all have started a legacy, and I hope and pray that it does not end anytime soon because these super teams just need to go out the window and fly like a magic carpet to another location.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, wait. There's breaking news. Ben Simmons says he expects to play in Game 5. Oh, wait, there's not.
Oh, yeah.
Just had to add that in there.
No. Here's more breaking news. Ben Simmons is going to dress like another bag of Skittles as he walks into the arena.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
You know what? Listen, this James Harden and Ben Simmons trade back and forth, this might be the first loss trade in NBA history.
Lose. Yes,
Either team sucks because they got both of them.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose trade. You lose now because you got Harden, who's a choke artist, and Ben Simmons hurt his back.
Oh, that poor little baby, cry baby, didn't even show up in the entire series.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think Kyrie Irving is going to go down as, other than Harden, perhaps the worst teammate in the NBA history. He's absolutely horrible. There has not been anyone more selfish, I don't think, in league history than Kyrie Irving. That whole stuff, he said a couple of times he was butthurt and didn't play. I mean, for whatever reason, I can't really remember what it was earlier this year. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I don't know, quit. Just quit. I don't know if you're not gonna do what you're supposed to do and be, if I was a team like the teammates, I would call him out. I would say, listen, man, you need to you're either committed or you're not. Man, I've never seen anything like it. He's absolutely horrible. He forced his way out of Cleveland. He forced his way out of Boston. It's just ridiculous. And it's because, guy's talented. There's no two ways about it. But man, his attitude and his choke, his choking over the last few years is going to outweigh everything that he has good. And hopefully, Brooklyn figures it out. I just cut his ass. I don't know. Because wake his ass up. I don't know.
Exactly. Because my thing is, with the exception of that championship that he won with the Cavaliers in 2016 and having that big time shot, that 3-pointer that put Cleveland up on 3 over Stephen Curry.
Mm-hmm.
That right there was one of the biggest. He was honestly, to me, the reason why they won that game in Game 7.
Yeah.
And I honestly, truly think, fellas, that him winning that championship, he's been content. I think he's been content. He doesn't want to get better because a truly great player would want to better his team, and all that type of stuff, and it's amazing to me, how just the way Kyrie was not the way he played in this series. He was so up and down. The turnovers, the not playing aggressive on defense enough. Marcus Smart had 20 points and 11 assists in Game 4. He was clearly outplaying Kyrie. Yeah, Kyrie had 20 points on 6 of 13 shooting, which is pretty good, but he wasn't nearly aggressive as KD, because clearly KD wanted this game. He really wanted this game, but Kyrie, to me, didn't, because the shot selection that he had, especially that 3-pointer that was bad, that was a huge turning point in that fourth quarter when Kyrie took that bad 3. Just my goodness. This series loss is not on KD. For once, I actually feel bad for the man because, KD has been balling his ass off the last couple of years, and he's been absolutely outshined, because by his other supposable star buddy teammates and Harden and Kyrie, because Harden didn't show up last year in the conference finals against the Bucks. And then obviously with this year, with Kyrie not showing up in this entire series against the Celtics. And it's just a proven fact that I think Durant, I think this will haunt him for the rest of his career because he knew in his heart, if he stayed in Golden State, the fans would have still loved him because he was destined to still win championships with the Warriors. And that's not even going to probably happen no more because he is forever screwed beyond belief right now in the situation that he's in. Because he thought, like you said, Kevin, that he could trust Kyrie, that, I can trust my buddy to come over here and play with him and all this stuff. Because I know Kyrie said, hey, bro, we can get on this team, get some players around us, we can win a championship. What the hell happened there? Nothing. Absolutely jack shit didn't happen with the Brooklyn Nets this year and last year. I mean, it's a proven fact. Honestly, guys, I think Steve Nash has coached his last game on Monday night against the Celtics in that sweep against the Boston Celtics.
I hope so. That'd be the best thing for them.
Horrible.
And I think Kyrie got Durant to come to Brooklyn so he wouldn't have to do all the work. You know, he talked a big game, but he knew he could get Durant there. He could. He said he could sit back and coast and do it, and he is exactly what he did the whole season.
Exactly.
With sitting out with the COVID and all that, just not the vaccination thing.
Yeah.
If they would have played Toronto, he couldn't even have played. So I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah, because he would have been screwed there because he couldn't have played over there in Canada.
He's horrible. He just needs to go away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he kind of lucked out because the fact that they had to play Toronto, but either way, they were screwed because the fact that they got their asses whooped, in this series. I mean, the Celtics didn't even give up the lead in this game last night. I mean, no matter what runs Brooklyn went on in that game, Boston took the Nets' best shot, punch for punch, and still won the game. Still won the series. Clean sweep. Out goes Brooklyn. And it's going to be an interesting next couple of days with these series wrapping up and series beginning because the Celtics are awaiting their opponent. More than likely, it's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks beating Chicago in that series. And that, to me, Kevin, is a huge factor with the Celtics and the Bucks. Is the fact that the Celtics will have home court advantage.
Yes, it is.
Because the Celtics won their last game, and the Bucks inexplicably lost to Cleveland. Lost to Cleveland to give up their for sure number 2 seed. So yeah, it's going to be rather interesting to see what happens in these next couple of series with the Suns and the Pelicans. And will the 76ers absolutely choke this series against the Raptors? We shall see. We'll talk about that stuff next Tuesday on our Nation Sports Show. And now that we got the NBA playoffs under control and out of the way, before we go on, also, you can also follow, once again, everybody follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show. Also, everybody follow the Nation's Corner. We talk about all things professional wrestling, AEW, WWE, Impact, GCW, ROH, you name it. Whatever is on our mind, we talk about it on the Nation's Corner. 7 p.m., 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific every Saturday night. And last time I checked, we are up to 259, 260 subscribers. And anyway, everybody, you can follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere else. It is all at the Nation's Corner. So give all of us a follow on the sports show, social media pages, and the Nation's Corner. And like and share with your friends on wrestling and sports and all that fun stuff. So anyways, guys, this Thursday, it is the NFL Draft. And once again, for the second straight year, the Jacksonville Jaguars have the number 1 overall selection in Sin City. And Kevin, I'm going to go to you.
Tell them why they do, Steven. Tell them why they do got that first pick.
Because they inexplicably, 100% absolutely suck. Who's booking this crap?
They do.
Who's booking this crap? Is it Khan? Because Khan's football team isn't doing diddly squat. And they have, yeah, absolutely. So, Kevin, I'm going to go to you. As far as these teams in the draft this year, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Chiefs. I could go down the line, bro. There's a lot of teams that need offensive linemen, wide receivers, defensive linemen, and defensive backs and linebackers and all that stuff. So, Kevin, what do you think? First of all, give your thoughts on this year's draft as far as who do you think has the best as far as, making the good picks and possible trade scenarios and, all that stuff. And what do teams need as far as picking and stuff? Go ahead.
Well, I think the Jaguars, of course, I think they're going to go defense. I think the Lions are going to go defense. I think the Jets are going to go defense. I think that's going to be the first time it's going to go all defense through the first 3 picks of the draft. But I'm interested to see some of the trades. Like, I'm interested to see the Deebo Samuel speculation because they had speculated that the New York Jets are willing to give up their number 3 overall pick for Deebo Samuel.
Wow.
And if that's true,
Wow.
John Lynch might be. And also, this has been they're saying now, this is the best wide receiver draft class in a long time. Now it's making sense to me what some of these teams are trying to do, like the Green Bay Packers. Okay, they gave away Adams unexplicably, but they're in line to draft a stud receiver if they know how to draft and scout right. So there's that. Same way with possibly us, the 49ers. We can trade away Deebo Samuel, but we'll be in a line again to draft an elite receiver like Jameson Williams is who we've had our eye on. Someone who's going to be a standout. Same way for the Kansas City Chiefs. They give away Tyreek Hill, and they're going to possibly draft in the mid-first round a stud receiver to take his place. And it makes sense to me now. So, and I'm also curious, like Randy said in the intro, what is going on with the Darren Waller situation? Is he going to be a Packer? Are the Packers going to give the Raiders a pick back? What's going on in that deal? That's what I'm curious. Mainly, I'm more curious about the trades on draft day because there's going to be a couple of them. And I'm just interested to see who's going to make that gun, who's going to pull the trigger, who's going to make the big-time trade, blockbuster. Waiting on the Deebo Samuel blockbuster trade. I'm waiting on it. I don't know what's going to happen with that because, we've heard this drama for 3 weeks now. He said, she said, I don't want, I do want, I don't want hot horse crap. We don't know the truth. I'm just waiting to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting, though.
Exactly. Because, when you look across the board, Dallas needs, arguably they need some receivers. But most importantly, they need offensive linemen with 3 of their star O-linemen being gone to other teams, obviously. So Dallas has a lot of questions. Kansas City has a lot of questions and answers. Atlanta could go with a defensive player. What are they going to do at quarterback? With Matt Ryan being gone to the Colts. What are the Panthers going to do? What are the Giants going to do?
They're going to suck. That's
right. They're going to suck. That's right. Such good shit. I love the taste of shit. Because you know what? Sometimes as the NFL team, you got to eat shit, damn it, and love it. Ha, ha, ha.
Hey, I do got a quick meme, though, for you guys. It said,
oh, God.
Since the Panthers said they are not interested at this time of trading for Baker Mayfield, well, hey, here, let's meet Jake from Mayfield does. 0.
Wow. Or even better. Oh, wow. Whoa. Oh, wow. Oh, God. Randy, as a Raiders fan, what do you expect the Vegas Raiders to do in this year's draft?
Well, I'm just hoping they need a little more defensive help, I think. But what I do know is they need to not entertain any talk about trading Darren Waller. Because there's nothing's going to happen but good with Waller and this team. So I cannot wait to see what would happen, and I don't understand why they would even entertain that at all. But I think tomorrow or Thursday the draft.
Thursday's the draft.
Yeah, Thursday the draft. I think it's gonna be great, and I think there might be some surprises in that draft, some trades, like you're saying, Kevin. I didn't really hear that, but I think that would be a blockbuster if they could pull that off, the Jets and the Niners. But yeah, there's a wide receiver heavy draft for sure. I mean, big time. And I think that not too many not quarterback heavy this time, but lots of wide receivers, a lot of studs. So it'll be interesting to see where the chips fall, and I'm looking forward to watching.
It should be a really interesting draft this year. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen and a lot that is going to happen because there's going to be a player that gets drafted that we're not going to see coming, obviously. And should be interesting. Joey, I know as a Washington fan, it's hard. It's hard being a Washington Commanders fan because your team has a lot of holes that they need to fill on that team on the receiving end, the defensive end, the offensive line, all that good stuff. So what are your thoughts on your team and what teams do you think that need to make a significant as far as draft pick or trade? What's your thoughts?
Well, to start off, this is what I was talking about in my intro. I am in a lot of Washington Redskins, Commanders, football team, whatever you want to call them, fan clubs on Facebook. And for the past, I say 2.5 months, everybody has gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in regards to, we got the number 11 overall selection in the 2022 NFL draft. Who do you guys think we're going to get? Or I think we're going to get this guy. I think we're going to get this guy. So many mock drafts, so many trades, so on and so forth. And I'm like, y'all done enough predicting. Shut up. The draft is Thursday. We're finally going to see who we're going to get with our first overall selection at number 11. Whether we draft somebody or whether we trade the pick and get possibly an additional first-round pick along with another first-round pick to have us getting 2 first-round overall selections in the draft. Whatever Ron Rivera or whatever their front office decides to do. But one thing I do want to see us do, and I know this isn't draft related, please get rid of Dan Snyder. I can't stand any more of his freaking antics. Please, Ron Rivera, whatever you got to do, get rid of Dan Snyder. Now back to the draft. If there's one thing that I really want us to do, I want us to draft a wide receiver. Because think about it. We got Terry McLaurin on the roster still. And we are hoping that he stays with Washington for a very long time because he's definitely the best. He's definitely the best receiver we've gotten on that roster, and the best receiver that we've gotten since. So I'll probably say the Santana Moss days. But one thing that Washington needs to do, in my opinion, is they need to draft a receiver who can line up alongside Terry McLaurin, possibly in the slot, one that has great speed, one that has good hands, and might I mention one that knows how to stay healthy, because Curtis Samuel is not that guy. We spent so much on him to bring him to Washington, and what does he do? He sits out for pretty much the whole rest of the whole season, just about, because he cannot stay healthy to save his life. I was sick of it. So what we need to do is we need to go out look at the available receivers, look at the number of pick that we have, and say, you know what? We can actually get a speedy wide receiver who has great hands, knows how to catch the ball, and is not worried about the yards he's going to get or the defender that's going to be chasing him. What he needs to do is focus on the catch first and then take off. Whether he gets tackled as soon as he hits the ball or if he catches the ball at the opponent's midfield and races the other 50 yards into the end zone for a touchdown. It doesn't matter. And being an Alabama fan as well in the college world, there was one receiver that I have had my eyes on for a long time. Yes, he got this past season, but it wasn't one of those freak injuries. It was one of those where he can easily bounce back and be the speedy elite receiver that he's meant to be.
Right.
And the guy that I'm talking about is Mr. Jameson Williams, because he transferred from Ohio State last year, where Terry McLaurin came from also. So there's some local ties there. But Jameson Williams, he came in and pretty much made Alabama players forget the fact that Jalen Waddle went to the draft so early. Him getting picked 6 overall Miami Dolphins a couple years ago. Jameson Williams' athleticism and his playmaking ability made Alabama fans forget who Jalen Waddle was for at least one season. And that is who I think Washington needs to go after with their 11th overall selection in this draft. Screw getting a defensive player right now. We don't need to get a defensive player right now because, yeah, we've lost a few defensive players here and there, but one of our main strong suits has been the corner safety position. And a lot of people have been saying that we're expected to get this safety out of Notre Dame named Kyle Hamilton. I don't want his sorry butt. All he's done is get burnt week in and week out, month
But
in.
Joey, real quick, Joey, before you continue, I tell you who really could use him to be successful with that shit? The Dallas Cowboys.
I'm right, because hang on, I'm about to go a little off topic here. I saw something that made me laugh my absolute head off. It said it was a meme saying that over the past 5 years, there's only been one defensive back who has given up over 1,000 yards in coverage on average in the regular season. And you know who that was?
What's up?
Mr. Trevon Diggs from the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my.
Mr. Trevon Diggs, Mr. So-called rookie, Mr. So-called all-star.
He didn't get his game on and he didn't go play. Just saying.
Nah, but yeah, there are a lot of teams that could benefit from a defensive or drafting a defensive player first, especially Jacksonville, because they wasted their first overall draft pick last year on a surfer dude for a quarterback who doesn't know how to play the game of football in the professional league. But there are a lot of teams that could benefit from drafting a defensive player first. But Washington, for me, they need to draft an offensive wide receiver that can play alongside Terry McLaurin and get some of the weight off Terry McLaurin's back. Because McLaurin has pretty much been carrying this team ever since he got drafted. So now it is time for the front office, the organization, the head coach, somebody to draft a wide receiver that can play alongside McLaurin, and finally they'll get some of the weight off of not only his back, but of course our so-called new quarterback Carson Wentz's back as well. Because I'm still kind of iffy about the whole Carson Wentz situation ending up in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe, just maybe, if we could surround Wentz with some playmakers, it might actually not be that bad. But we'll see what happens come Thursday.
Yep. And Kevin, I want to get to you again on your team and my team as well, the San Francisco 49ers. San Fran's got the first round, they got the 10th overall pick, and the second round, the 32nd pick. So in your mind, what does San Francisco need to do to get better? They're already a great team, but what do they need to be a little bit better as far as with their picks? What do they need?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, we don't really have a first round pick this year or next year, thanks to the Trey Lance pick last year. But as we know, John Lynch, he does his work in the day 2 and the day 3 of the NFL draft, like the likes of a George Kittle, 4th round tight end out of Iowa, or Fred Warner, a 4th round linebacker out of BYU, or Drake Greenlaw, a 5th round pick, Elijah Mitchell, stud running back, 5th round pick from Tennessee. So we don't really do our damage in the first 2 rounds, but the 49ers, they need interior O-line. They need an interior offensive line because we don't know about center Alex Mack, if he's retiring or not. He ain't made it. He hasn't told nobody nothing. So we might have to replace a center, and we need a right guard. But as far as needs, maybe in the late rounds, maybe corner, because, I mean, we did get Chadarius Ward, and we still got Emmanuel Mosley, but maybe somebody to help Thomas in the spot, maybe someone like that. Maybe a strong safety, because if Hufanga, he needs some competition. We don't want to just give him the safety spot and him be a second-year safety. So maybe a defensive back later in the rounds, but I'm looking at the big fellas. I'm looking at the interior O-line and the inside, left guard, right guard, center, those positions. But if they do decide to trade Debo, I wouldn't be shocked if they go wide receiver. Especially if they can pull 2 first-round picks and get 2 of them in the first round, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the San Francisco 49ers trades their top 10 pick back to get like a 19 pick, because there'll still be some great receivers on the board, and they can still acquire more draft capital. But I'm thinking that maybe running back, maybe they can get a running back. I don't know. I'm looking for him to think offensive line, because we know Mr. John Lynch. He loves he loves big fellas. He loves to draft big fellas and play with big fellas. He loves them guys, and that's true to what they did. That's their winning ways. They win on the defensive line and the offensive line. So I look for the 49ers to go after an interior lineman on that one.
Good analysis. Now, here's 2 teams that has me curious with this draft. That's the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to start with you, Kevin, on this one again. First, we'll go with Buffalo. I'm gonna go around the table with you guys on this one. So first, I'll start with you, Kevin, on Buffalo. Buffalo last year was the number 1 overall defensive team in the NFL. Was a play away or 2 in the last 13 seconds of going to the AFC Championship game against the Cincinnati Bengals. So with that being said, what does Buffalo need? Because clearly they have a lot of great players on the offensive end, with Diggs and Beasley and, all those guys on the offensive end. And so what do you think Buffalo needs on the offensive end, the defensive end? What does Buffalo need to be a little bit better next season in this draft?
2 things stand out for me. One, defensive end, because if you look at that last play that Patrick Mahomes got them on, the Bills had no pressure on their front 7. They didn't get no pressure to the quarterback. You got Ed Oliver. You went out and got Von Miller, a good edge rusher. Now you need opposite edge rusher. So if you can get another defensive end, that would be golden. If you can't do that, I'm looking at, yet again, offensive line. The reason why is the games that we've seen the Bills be inconsistent, like the Jaguars beat them. What happened? They couldn't protect Josh Allen. He was getting beat up. So they need someone who's going to be that lockdown lineman, who's going to keep the hits away from him, give him time to throw for his natural 400 yards a game. I mean, and maybe if they can't get either and ain't satisfied, I think they would go maybe second round, maybe running back. I think they would try to challenge Devin Singletary for that running back job. Try to get another one. See if they can't strike gold. Maybe strike them a Jonathan Taylor like running back. Maybe. Sure. Absolutely. That's the only needs I see they needing is just that 3. They're good on the secondary. Don't need linebackers. Don't need a D tackle. Don't need interior line. Definitely don't need receivers. You got like 6 receivers out there now. minus Cole Beasley, because he got released, but you still got Jamison Crowder, who they went out and signed. Monroe High School native, by the way. And you got, of course, Stephon Diggs with his big payday. And then you got the other guy who, Gabriel Davis, who came out.
Oh, dude, he was excellent.
Then you still got Emmanuel Sanders, who's a veteran. They don't need any skill players except maybe running back.
Right. Randy, what do you think Buffalo needs?
Well, I think they were a complete team, like you guys are saying, all year. Just inconsistent at some points, but yeah, the need to keep Josh Allen upright and in the game, not getting sacked so many times and all that. I think just some offensive line help. I think that they're a team that doesn't have too many needs.
Right.
They, like you said, the skill players, man, they are stacked at receiver. Maybe a running back, like you said, maybe even to challenge him or be like a change of pace guy, even. Buffalo's in a really good spot, but the AFC is going to be so tough this year.
Oh yeah.
Just get another lineman. Hell, just because every other team is going to be getting better. You might as well try to get better at every position too deep, because you can't afford to lose a game this season. To get too behind too many games in the division, because every team in their division has gotten better too. Miami, of course, with all their acquisitions. New England's always New England, and maybe even the Jets. Okay, all right, I'm reaching, but
you tried.
But still, but the AFC is just so stacked this year, and it'll be interesting to see what all these teams can do. There's going to be only so many spots at the end of the season, like we found out last season, and it's probably going to come down to the end. Because there's just so many good teams. Some teams are going to be great to get left out. It's going to be sad.
Yep. Joey, what do you think Buffalo needs?
Well, I say it's pretty simple. Like Kevin said, I think Buffalo needs to go get them a running back.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. And we'll move on. Two more teams. We got Kansas City. So Kevin, Kansas City, as we know, they're going to be a different team next year. What do you think as far as Kansas City's needs? What do they need in this draft?
I think they're going to go receiver, but they need a whole new fucking defense, obviously.
Yes, exactly.
Matter of fact, I'll go one farther with you. I think they need to be like Twitter and go ahead and sell their whole team to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
But Kansas City really needs to think about this upcoming year with these people on this team, because the defensive side of the ball is going to be vastly different and all that stuff. Randy, what about you? What do you think about the Chiefs? Because they clearly, to me, need defensive players and stuff like that.
Yeah, they can go to the NFC for all I care.
That's not going to happen, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I knew there was crap. No, they're going to rebuild. They're the Chiefs. They always find a way to figure something out. They've done it the last couple of years. Wide receiver, they'll probably end up getting somebody somehow. One of the ones we talked about. So heavy in the draft this year, and I've heard even trying to get a running back. Hilaire was hurt a lot last year.
Yes, he was.
So that's definitely a possibility. If I were them, I'd just
sell their team,
wrap it up, and not even play. But anyway, but yeah, I think that's where they'll go.
Yeah.
No, I'm like you, Randy, though. I hope they don't rebuild. I hope they suck. I hope they go from the Kansas City Chiefs to the Kansas City Cheeks, because they're going to suck. I just hope they suck.
the chefs. They're the chefs. That's who they are.
Cooking up some shit. Anyways,
up.
Jelly, what are your thoughts on
Cooking up
Kansas
some
City in the
meth.
draft?
Oh my Lord, Kevin, you are something else, my friend. Oh my Lord.
So, Jelly, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs in the draft this year?
They need to get some playmakers to surround Patrick Mahomes because
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes is definitely heading into this year one of the top 5 quarterbacks easily in the NFL. But yet you got receivers like Marquez Valdez-Scantling,
Yep.
Juju Smith-Schuster
The TikTok master.
Surrounding him? I mean, what?
What?
I mean, what is that Chiefs front office doing? What are they doing? They trade Tyreek Hill to Miami and they get all this draft compensation in return, but yet as of right now, heading into Thursday, they have Juju Smith-Schuster as their number one receiver, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling as the number 2 receiver, and not to mention Travis Kelce as the tight end, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire as of right now as the starting running back.
Right.
Holmes, if I were you, if the Chiefs don't do anything in this draft, I would get out of KC and I would run quickly.
Exactly. And lastly, before we wrap up the show, Cincinnati, the team that has a lot of potential to make some moves in this draft. And they're already starting out good, getting some offensive linemen to protect Joe Burrow and that offensive front. I mean, they clearly need offensive linemen, maybe a few defensive players here and there, but real quickly, guys, around the room. Kevin, what do you think the Bengals need to do in the draft?
I think they adjust their O-line enough to me. I think they're going to go D-line, maybe for
Gotcha.
depth. I think they're going to go D-line or linebacker.
Right. Randy?
Yeah, I think defense too. I mean, they kind of got a little exposed in the
Super Bowl
too. Yeah.
Yep.
And just in the regular season as well. I mean, they're on the cusp of being the class of the North, which is saying a lot, but they're gonna need some D-line help, especially against Ravens, and the Browns got, I hate to say better, but
and that's saying something.
Yeah, and then those guys and Pittsburgh, there's the cloud moving over them, unfortunately.
Yep.
The quarterback position, but
yep.
There's talk that they're going to try to either go out and get a good pick or draft someone good. So if I was Cincinnati, I definitely stack up on defense because they're gonna need it. So like I said, if anything at all these AFC teams, all of them, they all know they're gonna have to outlast. They're gonna have to outlast, definitely more than ever, outlast every other team, because every team is good. This is going to be great this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, because
all improved immensely in their division, and all the division in the AFC. Every division has gotten unbelievably better.
Yep.
So it's just going to be exciting, and we'll see. And win at the draft, win all the win the season at the draft, but there's going to be some gems that are definitely going to help you along the way.
Yeah, and before I go to you, Joey, on Cincinnati, what they need to do, I think as far as the Rams, before we go back to the Bengals, I think the Rams seriously need to get some running backs. Oh, they need some running backs bad.
Yeah.
Because that running back game is just not really good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that Akers didn't play until the playoffs. So
nope.
I mean, you're definitely hitting the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
And this is a good draft for running backs as well.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
I think you'll find someone.
And
Definitely.
Joey, what are your thoughts on the Bengals as far as in the draft?
Well, as far as Cincinnati is concerned, they the one thing that killed them in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs in general was the fact that they did not give Joe Burrow any protection. So yeah, to begin free agency, they have they have boosted their offensive line just a little bit, but I still think they need to get an interior O lineman to
Right.
kind of to make sure that the Bengals win every offensive line battle in the trenches, because all it takes for Joe Burrow is to get one bad hit and he could be out for his whole career. He could be
Yep.
out for the season. He could be out for a few games. It don't matter.
You're right.
The Bengals, in my opinion, they need an interior O lineman as well as a tight end to kind of, I guess you can say, boost Joe Burrow's passing game a little bit more, because now that teams know about the Burrow Chase connection in the pros, they'll be like, whoa, this Jamar Chase kid is really something special. So maybe we need to start double teaming him or playing top notch defense on him. So
Right.
so Burrow is going to have to pass the ball around a little bit more. And the Bengals, their defense was actually pretty stout over this past year, but I still think they need to draft like some backup guys who can provide a little additional depth to, just kind of make sure that the defense is where it needs to be, because
Right.
it's been proven time and time again, defense wins championships, and that's what the Rams did last year. They won the Super Bowl last year because of that stout defense. So Cincinnati needs an interior O lineman for more battling in the trenches, a tight end to get some of the targets off Jamar Chase's back,
Right.
and some extra defensive depth to make sure that defense stays as stout as it needs to be.
Definitely.
Excellent takes, guys. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of teams that need like running backs, like Green Bay and the Rams and maybe the Chargers. Could use a running back or two. I mean, my goodness. I mean, this draft is just so full of great receivers and running backs and tight ends and defensive players and all that good stuff. It should be a really, really fun draft this weekend. And man, if you guys don't have anything else you want to talk about on the show, we can wrap this show up. So you guys got anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this bad boy up?
I'm good.
Kevin?
On my end.
I do want to say currently Memphis is down again by 3 to Minnesota in the third quarter. They're in trouble.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So that's one series we didn't touch upon. The Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, it's been a rather interesting series. I mean, it's tied up at 2 games apiece, and clearly Memphis, like a lot of these other teams, that are in the playoffs, are inexperienced.
They're just too young.
I just looked on ESPN myself and I saw that Miami is up 74-61 on the Hawks with 13 seconds to go in the third. So unless something drastic changes in the fourth, bye Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a college score right there, man. There's no scoring going on in these games.
Absolutely. It does look like a college score.
Wow.
But man, what a great show with you guys tonight. And before we wrap this up, let's go to your final thoughts. First, I'll start with you, Joe. Your final thoughts.
Once again, another great show with you guys. I'm so thrilled that I get to come on here week after week to talk sports with you guys. And I just want to say that this upcoming Monday night, my wife and I, we will be in Greensboro for a live episode of Monday Night Raw. We are so excited. We've been counting down the days, the weeks for this event, and it's finally coming up next Monday. So if you want to see me on TV, you might want to tune in next Monday Night on Raw because we got some pretty good seats.
What section you in there, bro?
Awesome, man.
We're in section 123, right in the very front row.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Yes,
Maybe
sir,
somebody,
buddy.
maybe somebody will get sweat on you. That's awesome.
Yeah. And before we also go off the air, you guys celebrated your anniversary of the day, so happy anniversary to y'all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Happy
We
anniversary,
appreciate
sir.
it. It's been a very great 3 years, and I couldn't have asked for, and I can't ask for anyone better.
Awesome. man.
Absolutely. Randy, your final thoughts on today?
Oh yeah, great show. You guys, great analysis on the NBA and the draft and all that. Thanks for having me. I always have a good time, and I enjoy doing this with you guys. It's getting to where I'm looking forward to it every Tuesday. So, missed Ezra.
Yes, Ezra. And for those that don't know, Ezra couldn't make it because his power went out today. I mean, as a matter of fact, we had a storm here in North Carolina that hit, and Joey's power went out for a couple hours. So thank God he was able to make tonight's show, because for a while I was looking like it was going to be a three-piece band tonight.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna tell you
luckily-
what. I didn't know if my trailer. I was gonna be. I live in Wadesboro. I live out here. I might end up by you guys. If the wind would have blew any faster, I would have been. Whether I like it or not, I might have made it back to Ohio. I might have been on my way to Ohio for all I know. But,
Yeah. Thank God that didn't happen, because that would have been a shit show. Anyways, but
Oh,
no.
oh,
wow. But in all seriousness, you would have been the best thing to hit Ohio since
Yeah.
LeBron and then won the championship in 2016. But I digress.
True that.
Like,
Thank you, and I miss Ezra's dad jokes. I wanted to say that.
yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
But
anyways,
Yeah.
Kevin,
Yeah.
your final thoughts?
Oh, it's been another good show with you guys talking the NBA playoffs, the NFL
Playoffs?
draft coming up. And the only problem I have with this damn NFL draft is we sit there to watch 3 hours long to watch a bunch of picks. If I'm going to take 3 hours to watch a bunch of picks, I just watch Jameis Winston play a damn football game.
Well, I tell you what, fellas, we're not going to be on here for 5 hours on Thursday doing this. We're going to be on our happy asses at home watching it on our TVs. No. We're not doing that again this year.
Randy suggested we do it.
Yeah. I was gonna have him suggest you do it.
Nope.
Yeah, I could have been sleeping right there.
yeah.
Exactly.
You'd have been out cold.
Yeah,
Everybody's been
exactly.
warm.
Yeah,
Everybody-
exactly. Once again,
I'll tell you
everybody,
what.
you can go ahead.
I'm gonna say real quick, if we were to do that again this year, then we lose all our viewers after the third hour.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh my goodness, that we tried it last year and it was a chore to get through 5.5 hours. It was oof. Yeah,
It was rough.
It was rough. But anyways, folks, once again, you can follow us on Twitter at ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show. Also, professional wrestling fans, the Nation's Corner live every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. Follow us on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere else. It's at The Nation's Corner. Why Twitter? Can it be simple? Let it all social media platforms be at The Nation's Corner. Not one be Nation's Corner and the others three be The Nation's Corner. Anyways, that's my diatribe for that on social media. But anyways, Hayes Ezra couldn't make it tonight because of his power being out, but looking forward to him being back next week. And for all you metalheads, tomorrow night in Raleigh, North Carolina, I talked about this with you guys before, and I talked to my buddy Steve about this, and Elder Mike and Tony and everybody in our Zooms. Tomorrow night, I will be in Raleigh for the Bay Strikes Back Tour, baby. Headlined by Testament. Oh, it's going to be absolutely incredible. My God, 3 metal bands in one night. Testament with the great Chuck Billy, Alex Skolnick, Eric Peterson, Dave Lombardo behind the drums. Oh my God. And Steve DiGiorgio on the bass guitar. It's going to be great hearing Dave live for the first time live in my life. It's going to be awesome. And also joining Testament is Exodus, and the first band playing will be Death Angel. So it's going to be a metal thrashing madness of fun. Yeah. So everybody, thank you for joining us on another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Man, my goodness, what more can I say? Like Travis Tritt once said, it's a great day to be alive. And it's also a great day to be, it's also a great time to be a sports fan because all the great things is going on. The NBA playoffs, the NFL draft is happening this weekend. And man, there's going to be a lot of crucial picks happening. But all 32 teams in the National Football League, what will happen? You'll have to watch. We'll have to watch all together to find out. We'll break it on down next week, along with all the action in the NBA playoffs from this week and the weekend upcoming. And we will be back next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. You get the drill. Same time, same channel. For Kevin Rorie, Joey Thornton, not Justin Timberlake, Randy Giron. I am Stephen Wyand. We are signing off, and thank you for joining us for another action-packed edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody, and have a great week and weekend. Peace.